Okay, I am super excited about today's topic. I am going to give you essentially the 5 principles of ultimate success. That's a really big statement, isn't it? But really and truly, I firmly believe that if every human being applies these 5 principles, and which it's a process, don't get me wrong, but if you adopt these 5 principles, you create this for yourself in your life, you are going to be able to achieve anything, move through anything, get unstuck, really and truly create the life that you want. So it is essentially what I'm going to introduce you to is my Pentagon of Success. My Pentagon of Success, which is so perfectly named because a pentagon obviously is the shape of a house. I want you to think about this as your foundation. And a house gets built from the ground up. This is your foundation for every single thing in your life that you want to create or eliminate. And I'm going to give you a little bit of the backstory on it. This is actually, the Pentagon of Success is something that I culminated in the past 2 years together from tools and strategies that I've used over the last 15 to 20 years myself and the ones that I've coached and taught people. But someone asked me a question. I mean, maybe it was like 18 months ago, 12 months ago. One of my clients asked me a question, knowing some of the journey that I'd been through in the last 5 years, a lot of the challenges that I had gone through in my own growth and my own journey. Someone asked me, how did you do it? With everything that you had on your plate, how did you keep going? And so I really took that question to heart because I actually really wanted to dissect the answer to that question, because I knew that if I could find the answer to that question, what I could equip women with was the tools to always be able to keep moving forward. Powerful, right? So I created my Pentagon of Success, which is really a culmination of the 5 tools and the 5 processes that I use in all of my programming and all of my coaching, but they become the foundation for everything. So let me walk you through. I'm not going to go through them like how to actually execute them because this would be like a 5-hour podcast, but you can get the information, of course, on another podcast, another episode. But let's dive into this. Okay. So the Pentagon of Success, 5 principles. The first one is your core values. So you need to have your core values. That's number 1. The second one is your vision story. You need to have a vision story for your year or your life, whichever timeline you're creating. The third one is your avatars. And if you're not familiar with avatars, essentially that's the identity of who you need to release and who you need to become. So your bound nature avatars, who you want to release, your free nature avatars, who you want to become. So you need to know your bound nature, free nature avatars. The fourth piece of the Pentagon is a 90-day plan. A 90-day plan that combines mindset protocols and action plan to move you forward. And then the final piece of the Pentagon is a daily process. So let me walk through these a little bit to give you a little bit more understanding of what I'm talking about and why they're so powerful. Your core values, essentially, they are the why behind everything you do. My personal core values are happiness, impact, and mastery. One of my clients, it's ripples, information, and education. Everybody has different core values. What are the 3 things that drive you forward? The 4 things that drive you forward? Why are you doing what you're doing? That is the ultimate foundation. So that's the first thing you need, your why, AKA core values. The second thing you need is your vision. Where are you going? What are you creating? What do you want? And that vision needs to be dialed in and so crystal clear that you know exactly what you're going after. What is the vision? Well, the vision becomes your what. So the core values is your why. The vision is your what. Now we step into the avatars, which is your who. Who do you need to become? Who do you need to release from? So we have the why. We have the what, and we have the who. Now, in the last 2 pieces, remember that 4th piece is the 90-day plan. The 90-day plan of mindset protocols and action. So when I'm talking mindset protocols, basically what I'm talking about is taking your vision, disseminating it down into the next 90 days. What matters most? I help women create inspiration statements, which become what drives our everyday and how we're moving forward and creating things. So that 90-day plan. And then coupled with the last piece, which is your daily mindset protocols. So what might that look like? For example, a journaling process, setting intentions in the morning, counting wins at night, daily imagination. What are the things you do on a daily basis to drive that vision forward? Well, the 90-day plan and the daily process, what that gives you is the how. So I hope you're picking up what I'm laying down here, because these 5 principles in this Pentagon of Success gives you the why, it gives you the what, it gives you the who, and it gives you the how. What does it not give you? It doesn't give you when. And here's the thing, what you need to understand is that we don't control when. We don't control timelines. We don't control when things are going to happen. But if you have yourself locked in on why I'm doing something, what I'm doing, who I need to become to do that, and how I'm going to do that, and you wake up every single day and you practice those processes, the when is inevitable. And that is the whole point of having this Pentagon of Success. Now, don't get me wrong. One of the things that I never, ever, ever do is preach an immediate change, because immediate change doesn't happen. This conversation right now is probably setting off some light bulbs, and you're probably having moments of oh my gosh, yes, I get that. I don't have a vision. I need a vision, or I have no idea why I'm waking up in the morning doing what I'm doing, or who am I even? Who was I and who do I need to become? This is a process. I'm not going to try and pretend it's not a process, but everything I do as a coach is about bringing all the concept into a practical application so that you can develop it as a skill, and then therefore a process that you can repeat day in and day out. This Pentagon of Success is everything you need from a foundational standpoint to build the life you want. You just default back to it. You get a little bit lost, a little bit overwhelmed, you get a little bit of struggle, you have to pivot, you have to change goals. You come back. You ask yourself what your core values are. Maybe you need to reset your vision. Maybe you need to change who you are to become what it needs. Maybe you need to adapt your process. But if you keep using that foundational process of this Pentagon of Success, you cannot fail. You cannot fail. It's just, and that's a bold statement. You cannot fail. So those are the 5 things that you need to implement in your life, which I realize, big, bold statement right here, but you got to figure out how to, when I say you got to figure out how to do it, what I really mean is I tell you how to do it. It's accessible to you in many different places. That's what I want to equip you ladies with, so that you have a foundation to build a castle on, if that's what you want. This is not just a podcast. It's a call to rise, because the world doesn't change when we wait. It changes when we choose. So share this inspiration, tag me at the Carrie Campbell _experience, and bring the women who refuse to be left behind. Until we meet again, hold the vision, trust the process, commit to today, and let's redefine, reclaim, and rise together.